speaking of like trio friendships, have you guys ever like felt jealous of two of the other people getting close? Welcome back to another episode of BULGOGI Pod, featuring Joyce, Allie, and Stuart. He's the star of today. Yeah, and so you guys know that I have mentioned my roommates quite a bit.
Not really. I listen to the podcast. Hannah rarely talks about us.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But I wasn't the recent one. I'm the one that she hiked with, and I taught her how to breathe.
Yes, Allie taught me how to breathe.
That's
me. And then Joyce is the one who got asked to be a Valentine by her boyfriend.
But she was also the first guest, you guys.
Yeah.
First guest
back
for
in 2020.
And then I never got asked.
Allie, I asked you and you literally declined.
Not true. I'm just kidding.
This is freaking false. But yeah, they have taken part in making me who I am for like the last 9 years. And so even though they don't get enough credit, they are a giant part of my life.
Aww.
Wow.
Like giant. So
Hi, I'm Stuart. How long do I have to do this? A micro mini golden doodle.
yeah, you can't forget the micro mini. Yeah, and so I guess like how did we meet?
We all met in 2014, freshman year of college.
9 years ago?
I actually met Hannah first. I met her at a college orientation.
I remember we met, but I was intimidated because you were friends with like this really like nonchalant girl.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, like she scares me. And so like that was kind of the vibe.
And then when did you meet Joyce?
I met Joyce at USC KCM, probably like the third or fourth one. Did we meet before that?
I don't remember meeting Hannah.
Oh my. I remember like I think your reputation in that org at the time was like Joyce is like number 1 sassiest or like number 2 sassiest or something.
You were just mean to people. I think that was your vibe.
I used to be really mean. I don't know the difference between being mean and making a joke. But the first memory I have of Hannah was during it was a freshman meeting.
Oh.
A freshman thing. And then Hannah was wearing a burnt orange halter bralette top.
Oh, she loved her bralettes.
Oh, yeah.
She wore that thing like under everything.
Everything, yeah.
She had like a white top on.
Uh-huh. And a burnt orange bralette, so it was like a see-through.
Do you remember which bralette we're talking about?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That was my first memory meeting Hannah.
Oh.
But I don't remember our interactions.
Yeah, I really don't remember because like that was also 9 years ago.
But then we were not close at all until the day we decided to live together.
Yeah.
Actually. Like deciding to live together expedited our friendship somehow.
No, it was in the reverse order that it should have been,
exactly.
right?
And then here we are.
Yeah, we got Thai food that night.
We did.
And then right after graduation, we all moved back home. I had moved an hour south of LA. Allie was in LA. Joyce was like southeast of LA. And so we were literally at least an hour away from each other.
Yeah, 45 minutes to an hour.
And I think during this post-grad time was probably like when I was like the most distant from you guys, right? Because like living together, it's like, oh, okay, like I see you here and there, but like consciously having to make an effort to keep in touch with you guys, like I was like, oh, okay, I'll meet up with them like once a month. But when you meet up in that sort of cadence, it's not like I'm going to you guys for advice or like being very present with like, this is what's actually happening in my life. It's more so, oh, here's what you missed from like the last month of us not meeting.
Yeah, it's just all wrapped up nice, packaged greatly.
There was a time when I was at your house a lot. When was that?
There was 1 week where she wouldn't leave.
Oh yeah, Joyce was like, can I sleep over? Can I sleep over again? Maybe
I
just
was
like one
so
more time.
over living at home that I escaped to Hannah's.
Oh,
And I think I
thought
stayed there for a week.
I thought that you were just like obsessed with me. Not
Or
that
Leo.
Not that you
Don't
were running
flatter
away.
yourself.
I just wanted to hang out with Leo and get away from home.
Oh.
But then, you know what? I think that actually spurred the conversation of moving out. And then Hannah was down.
Oh yeah,
And
I
then
was down.
I was like FOMO, so I became down.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh.
And so we've been living here for 2
2
years,
years, yeah.
basically.
That's so
Crazy.
insane to me.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Also, what's insane, I think, is like coming into moving in together after like a couple years of being apart. I was like truthfully a little nervous. I was like, okay, I know that you guys are safe to live with because right, we had never fought in the past, but then I also had to like mentally take into account like, oh, but we've all changed,
Yeah.
like in the 2 years that we weren't living together.
Yeah, I think there was a recognition that all of us were a different person in some ways.
Yeah, because right, like when you meet people, however long ago you met them, it's kind of like, I think it's easy to box people into, oh, so-and-so is this way, like Allie is this way, like Joyce is this way. And so I think kind of recognizing that like people are capable of growth, and there's probably a lot of growth that has been done that you don't see on those like monthly dinners was like important to just call out.
When in our 2 years of living together did you realize like, oh, this was a good decision?
Do you have your answer? Is it when you got with your boyfriend?
I think for me it is, honestly.
Wait, why?
Because I feel like all of that like month was so crazy for me because I got LASIK, which was a life-changing experience, honestly.
Aww.
And then I met my current boyfriend, but I had first met him when I was living at my parents'. But then when we started hanging out and like talking and getting to know each other was when I moved out.
Oh.
And for me, I feel like if I had lived at home, a lot of my processing would have been done with my mom, which, you know, obviously like pros and cons, right? But then living here and processing with you guys allowed me to think independently about like my values, about what I want versus what my parents want.
I remember there was a night after Allie got LASIK and I slept over your room.
Yeah,
and we
I don't
slept
know
together. Wait, that sounded wrong. We
We had a sleepover.
we
Yeah.
had a sleepover for some reason. Hannah wasn't there.
Yeah, I think I went back home
Which
for the
is
weekend.
so weird because you should have given me more space. But I don't know why you...
More space.
Yeah,
in
she's
the
like,
bed.
I want to take care of you. And I think she ended up sleeping in my bed. But like, what if she hit my eye? What if
So I
went blind?
remember I was helping Allie process while she was seeing her boyfriend.
At the time,
she
it's just
was-
this random
And
guy.
she was wearing her eye protectant. And that's what I was seeing when I was helping her process. So that's what I'm remembering right now in your dark room.
Oh, I don't remember that because my eyes were closed. In my protective
Just
glasses.
like in pain.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't remember exactly which night it was for me, but I think like one of the hardest things about post-grad is decision making. And after moving out, there was a point where like I don't remember what I was trying to decide on, but I realized that like with you guys, because like it's not like my parents who have like automatic like authority, automatic like, oh, I respect your opinion. When I process with you guys, I'm able to like voice my opinions a bit more and like make a clear decision for myself a bit more.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty similar to what I was feeling in like choosing what I want for myself, not inputting the opinions of the people that I respect,
Yeah.
aka my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what yours was about job.
Yeah, no, you guys are definitely like the first person I go to for those kinds of things. Or honestly, I would say just everything in general, because you're right here and you have no choice but to listen to me.
Sometimes I can tell like when Hannah wants to talk. She's like, it's like right there. And if I don't ask, she won't start talking. And then when I do ask, it'll like just like word vomit. She'll just sit there like a puppy. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Like Allie and I were in the living room working or looking at our phones, and then Hannah sits down with us and just stares at us while checking her phone once in a while.
Really?
Yeah. Until we prompt a conversation.
That's so funny because I would never like categorize myself as somebody who like needs to be prompted in order to talk. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you're just 눈치 buying
oh,
of whether like we have time.
whether or not you're busy or
Yeah,
not.
yeah. If we're like, you know.
This is accurate. I am buying.
But yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Joyce?
I don't know. I think mine is different from you two because my parents are in Korea.
Was it when?
Maybe you don't have a moment.
Maybe I don't.
Yeah, maybe it was just like a series of moments, like when our neighbors put their trash in our trash can, or like.
No, those are reasons why I would want to move out.
Or like when your tires got slashed.
So much happened here.
So much happened.
Yeah,
here.
when our street was closed off because of gun activity and I couldn't come back home.
That was fun. I feel like you're a very spontaneous person though. Like even getting stored. You make very life-changing decisions very spontaneously.
I agree.
But I don't regret any of them.
Yeah.
Yet.
Like you prompted Chicago and we left a month later.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Like, we bought tickets that night, I think.
Moving out, I would say, was you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my life motto now after college. Oh, I think studying abroad changed my perspective on this. My motto now is to take advantage of the life I was given. And so when I'm thinking I want to do something, I have to do it because otherwise I know I'm just going to push it off and never do it. Right? Because you get so busy. You're always like busy. You're always trying to save money. There's this and this, other reasons. And then you end up never doing it. And so I see myself, my future self, looking back and being like, I wish I did that thing.
I like that. I didn't know that you had that motto.
All right, I'm getting Stuart a cousin. I'm just kidding.
Wait, I didn't know you lived like that. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I'll try to think of like from future Hannah's perspective on decisions, but it's really hard for me to remind myself to do that.
I don't think I've ever made a decision that way.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So that's why like Simon and I do so many mini trips because I'm like, this is just temporary like cost. It costs X amount. I'm like, it's not going to matter in the future. It's the memory that I'm going to remember. And so I do it.
Wait, so
I'm
then,
impressed.
in terms of decision making for you, Allie, how do you do things?
I can't really recall big life decisions I've made, to be honest. I think I'm much more conservative than you guys. in
Business
terms
school.
of- Oh, yeah, that was pretty spontaneous. But it was kind of prompted by my manager who recommended that was like the next step in my career.
Oh.
But I can't really recall a time I on my own thought of a decision or a series of decisions and then picked one.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that you are spontaneous.
Yeah.
You like a plan, right?
I do.
Even like when we travel, it's like Allie's the one who
Yeah, I'm neurotic.
Hannah and I go in with no plans.
literally zero.
I'm neurotic about plans. Now, I like genuinely love tracking things. That one time when I went to Japan and Korea with my friend Alice, I like tracked, I'm kind of embarrassed of it now, but I tracked every single expense that we ever made in that day. Like bus, I would write down how much we spent for research purposes.
Research.
Yeah, I remember
purposes.
every night, like, Alice was so nice about it, but I would be like, oh, so like, what did you spend? Like, okay, 900 yen for whatever. How do you think you make decisions?
I think it's a mix of me future thinking. Okay, am I gonna regret this in the future?
And then making it happen.
Yeah. Or I purely just think in the moment, like, what do I want? Like, regardless
Which would
of
be
outcome.
prompted, right?
What do you mean?
So I think the one in which you're thinking about the future is kind of like Joyce in you're going out of your way to make something happen that you want versus
versus like it being set up for me.
set up for you and then you just decide.
Yeah. I mean, I think I lean more towards the former because I think when things are like almost too set up for me, I feel like I'm not making a decision. I feel like a decision has already been made. And I don't like the feeling of like being out of control in that way.
I see.
Yeah.
So interesting.
That's interesting because that's like you taking control of your future, but then you interpret it as the future taking control of you and you're not able to make a decision
Yeah.
of what you actually want now.
Yeah. Because it's almost like too set up.
But But for me, that gives me more comfort.
Oh.
That I knew there's two options. I knew those pathways of my future are just that. Like, I don't need to think of infinite amount of possibilities, if that makes sense.
This is like therapy, because now I'm wondering why I'm such a type A person, but then when it comes to decision making, I'm spontaneous.
Yeah.
That's so counter. Oh my gosh, I'm the perfect middle of you two.
No, and that's actually something I brought up to Hannah before, and something I talked about with Sammy, my other friend.
She just has a lot of
Hi. Just kidding. No, but she, like, a friend was asking, like, how do we work so well when triad friendships are kind of rare, and that there's always some sort of jealousy or
somebody gets left out.
Yeah, there's always something along those lines, but we work so well together. And then I was reflecting and I said, in so many facets of our lives, one person is on the extreme of the other, but there's always that other person in the middle.
Yeah.
So in some sense, Hannah and I are very polar opposites.
Yeah.
But then Joyce is in the middle.
Wow.
And then it's just like,
take me out of the equation and this friendship would have never happened.
Wait, I think I like maybe would have been friends with you guys individually, but it's really hard to say because I think we work so well.
Yeah, I think so.
As a trio.
Would we be friends with each other had we met now?
Ooh.
I think we would be friends.
I think we would be friends too. Although I don't know if I would have ever run in your circle, Hannah. Like, how would we have crossed each other's paths?
Well, you kind of know everyone in LA, so I feel like we would have.
Like church?
Yeah, like I think Korean Christian community. Same
Probably
with you.
church.
Yeah, I think it would be through church.
No, I think I would have met you through Simon.
Oh.
Isn't that so weird?
NFT?
Yeah, you're right. That's so
is
crazy.
And I would have met you through Mike.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
that's
that would have been
weird.
so weird.
Or something like that.
Interesting.
But I think we would have been friends, but I don't think it would be as consistent as our current situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think I would argue that I am more likely to be friends with you guys now than I was in the past.
Oh.
I think we were more different in the past than we are now.
I think so too. Actually.
Like, it almost feels like, right, like you said, in all conversations, in all, like, the things that we bring to each other for advice, there's always, like, someone who's on the other side and then someone who's in the middle. I think, like, it seems like we've, like, grown in friendship, like, together, like towards each other.
Yeah, we honestly, because thinking back to our freshman selves, the distance between how far apart the extreme people were was much further than now. I think
Yeah.
we've all taken steps towards each other.
Do you agree or do you disagree, Joyce?
I agree.
Okay.
I'm slower at processing than the two of you. So.
But it's funny
Takes
because
a
I just
second.
talked about it and you also realized it in this conversation.
Yeah. Because I don't think I process things such as our friendship.
Why not? Because I feel like who you were, Joyce, in freshman year was so different.
Yeah, we would have known.
Like mama, like son.
Yeah. And then Hannah, you were so different too.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think I was wilder then?
No,
Like,
you were just, I think you were pretty whitewashed. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I think I had like more of a hatred, more self-hatred towards my Asianness.
Yeah.
Back then, way more so than I do now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, like, in the area that I had grown up in, like, it was kind of, like, half Asian, half white. Cool kids were white. A little bit, like, diverse, but, like, that was it for the most part. And so going into an environment that was exactly the same way, like USC, where it's kind of, like, a lot of Asians and a lot of white people, but majority white people. So it was kind of going into the same exact environment. And so
Especially in Marshall Business School.
Yes.
I remember there was like one class specifically, Allie, you felt like everyone was talking over you or like your opinion didn't matter because your voice.
I think for me, I grew up in a really small Christian private school where it was all Koreans. So I was able to speak up very, like, and I had grown up there since 5th grade. So I had a lot of confidence and self-love in some sense to be able to speak my mind even if I'm wrong, things like that. And then getting plucked out of that environment and going into USC was really, really like such a big culture shock, especially in a environment where I felt like I didn't belong. Like Marshall was like a lot of frat. Greek life is huge at USC, so it was like a lot of frat life, people coming from very like affluent backgrounds and things like that. So yeah, I didn't feel like I had anything to say, and even if I did, no one was listening. And it was my voice too, because
yeah, I mean, do you feel like you've gotten a little bit of that confidence back in like the years following SC?
Yeah, I think I like smaller settings for sure. I think that's why I've kind of grown to like, I want to grow in more technical skills where like I don't like my skills can't be questioned, if that makes sense.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's why I like Excel, analytics, that kind of stuff.
I will say now, I don't hear much of like, oh, Allie is so quiet or Allie is soft. Because I think people see you for who you really are now. And then maybe you've gotten better at expressing that or showcasing the real you. But yeah, I don't hear that anymore. Because in college, I used to always be like, oh, Allie, the really tall, quiet girl.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I didn't know who I was back then either. And then I think it was really in the recent years, especially moving up too, is when I kind of found, like when I realized who I was.
If you could like put that into words.
Of who I am? No. I'm just kidding.
How about we describe it?
Yeah.
Because it's so hard for yourself to try to figure out in words who you are.
That is true.
I will say though, I still get a lot of like, oh, I didn't expect you to be like this. But then it doesn't take as long as for people to find out who I am. Whereas before, I think it'd be like years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So what am I like, guys?
I think you're worse at processing than I thought.
Oh, really?
Well, right? Because you don't
Oh, I don't process,
Yeah, you're kind of like head empty.
Oh. Just call me stupid.
No. Which I think is good in a way.
Yeah, I live very carefree and naively.
But then when it comes to making decisions, you're not carefree.
Like I'll spiral.
Yeah. And you'll think about every possible outcome before making a decision.
It's hard to like describe.
Allie's fun. She's wild.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Personality wise, if you hang out with her,
She's silly.
silly.
Yeah.
Silly.
I think you see, I don't want to just call you funny is my issue right now.
I don't even think I'm that funny.
Oh, well, I think you're funny though.
I think I found what works, what kind of humor works.
With me specifically?
Yeah, I know exactly what she likes. No, I'm kidding. But I think it is the unexpectedness. Whereas before, I used to get really discouraged when like something like my boyfriend would say to me and early on, he'd be like, oh, you're so sweet. And I would get like really offended. I'd be like, I'm not sweet. Like, you know?
Right.
Like, that's not all I am. Because I think just on the surface, I can kind of come off as a basic bish.
Maybe
and like
bish.
But then now I like use that as kind of leverage in some sense.
No, she just honed his mic.
Oh yeah, I have him trembling.
Yeah.
What's Joyce like?
Joyce is a simp.
She is.
Joyce is a simp. Like, she's a softie. I think I've told this to Allie. I don't know if I've told this to you, but when I would hear you from your room take meetings, I was like, whoa, Joyce has gotten so good at like her job, and I think it's made her more confident in all scenarios.
Yeah, you know, before like we would proofread her emails. Do you remember that? Like.
What?
Like you would show us everything. Be like, oh, I'm not good at like writing. So
when I was working,
I think this was probably like when you were interviewing and like the first few days.
Wow.
At Musical.ly before it turned into TikTok.
Yeah, I think my personality changed a lot through work. Maybe I did find out who I really am.
I think
through
you're more
work.
blunt now too.
Yeah. Because that's how you survive out there.
Yeah, you're not as like, you don't entertain everyone's opinions. Not in a bad way, but like your yeses are yeses and nos are nos.
Yeah.
Like you're able to be like, oh, I don't think so.
I learned how to read through the BS.
I also think you're the first and one of the only people to ever ask me, like, are you okay? And me not get defensive about it. And so I think that shows your bluntness of like, is something bothering you? I want to figure it out. I'm just going to ask. And I started to realize like your intentions weren't like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Yeah, it was literally just like out of concern.
Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes I lie and she won't take it. She's like, no, you're not.
I know you're not okay. What happened?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, that's what happens when you live together. I know how Allie and Hannah are. When they are okay, and then when there's something on their mind, I know. That's why I ask.
yeah. What about Hannah?
This is like so scary.
Hannah's goofy.
Am I goofy?
She is.
Look at her right now.
You're turning red.
I know. I feel it.
Hannah is, I think the word I would use is flexible. She's one of those people where, like, let's say I had an event to go to and I didn't know the vibe, I would take Hannah.
Adaptable.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Flexible. Friendly.
Like I could take her to like a work event and she'll be fine.
Approachable.
I could take her to like a church event and she'll be fine. You're like a good +1. Wait, I know. Wait, in the best way.
She's available to be your +1.
I really like that descriptor.
Yeah, that's
I
something
think
you
it's
liked
accurate.
about your dad that you wanted in
that I
your
wanted.
significant other too.
Yeah.
We did talk about that.
Yeah.
We don't want to be embarrassed of our significant others.
Yeah.
And you're a friend that we wouldn't be embarrassed to take anywhere.
Yeah.
It will elevate my vibe.
Because I think like, well, I think because of that, it's hard to find that in someone else.
Oh, because
right?
your standards are high.
Yeah, because like literally I'm
The best.
Yeah, I'm the best.
She's basically saying she's the perfect.
Yeah.
She's exactly who she wants to date.
Yeah.
She is.
Honestly, yeah.
Has good music taste.
Works out.
Can fashionable.
Can be a +1.
Can be +1.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because those are all things that we wouldn't have picked up on the first, like from our first impressions.
Yeah.
Because Hannah, I thought you were whitewashed, which is totally different from being flexible and adaptable.
Right.
And Joyce, I thought you were just a pick-me girl. Which is totally different from being confident and blunt. You know?
And same with you, Allie.
Yeah.
Like shy girl.
I was just like a paper. Like translucent. Translucent graphing paper.
like you could just copy her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
We've all grown a lot.
I'm like happy to be like doing life with you guys.
Yeah. Me too.
Joyce's simpiness is rubbing off on me.
She's crying right now. Check the video.
I'm not simpy.
Dude, okay, wait. When
You
I
said you were simpy and then you didn't elaborate.
Wait, simpy in a great way, because I think like I already okay, this is like so weird, but like I already see the mom characteristics in you, and I'm like, oh, it takes like effort to like make like holiday parties happen, which like you always initiate, you always buy the decor for, and like the gingerbread stuff. Like I think you initiate a lot of like our dinners. Like you're very like intentional. Yeah.
Maybe that's better than simpy.
Yes.
I think you like creating memories. Like you live off of memories.
You have to. For me.
Yeah, but I think you're different. Like I think Hannah and I are not as much like we're not as sentimental.
Yeah.
And we don't really need memories to keep a relationship going, even though it is crucial and important, which is why I think you are a great balance to this trio.
I think a part of it is because I want to show people I have relationships with that I'm putting in effort.
Oh.
Yeah, I think one thing that maybe Hannah and my type of personalities, like one thing we're missing from our relationships is that we're not, like, we don't put in that effort to create those core memories.
Yeah. Because I think core memories of ours are like, a lot of it is initiated by Joyce.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's why we work.
Speaking of like trio friendships, have you guys ever like felt jealous of two
Each
of
other?
the other people getting close?
I've definitely felt it.
Dude,
I'm just kidding.
Allie and Joyce love to like think that they're bothering me, but I'm like, I think the biggest thing for me was that like I'm confident in both friendships.
Yeah. I think I have felt those feelings creep up, but it was never to a point where it was like eating away at me. It was just like, oh, they're like close these days. But it's usually like when I'm home for a long time and then I come back and they have like stories that they've already told each other. It's more like that, not to the core being like, oh my gosh, I'm insecure about my friendships.
No, I don't think I've ever felt that.
Oh, ever?
But you know what the reason is? It's because I know if I'm not there, they won't do anything together.
Wait, that's very accurate.
That's
I
not
know they're just
true.
gonna stay at home
We're making memories at home.
doing their own thing.
No, we're doing our own thing next to each other.
Wait, that is so true. That's so funny, dude.
We're gonna do more stuff
I
about
understand
you.
you because when you're home, Hannah and I are like always going out to eat or grabbing dessert or watching something
Because of you.
because of me.
It's literally all Joyce. It's all Joyce initiated.
Like that, Hannah and I are similar in that way, where we can just veg out, do nothing.
Yeah, like it's been like, oh, should we take a nap?
Yeah, and we'll just nap together.
Yeah. Interesting.
Wow. How about you, Hannah?
Honestly, no.
So just me. Okay.
Wait, I have another question.
Yeah.
What makes a good friend? How can you be a good friend? Because as I get older, the thing I ask myself is, do I need more friends? Do I have, like, what kind of friends do I have? What kind of friend am I? How can I keep these friendships going? Like, a lot of questions about friends. I think a part of it is because, like,
I think I'm just thinking out of my butt, but maybe it is knowing what the other person needs in that relationship, like being less focused on how you're satisfied, but more on the other person. Because I could be satisfied exactly as I am, exactly as we are, but that's not necessarily enough to keep it going. I can't be the only one satisfied. And I think the focus needs to be more on how am I giving and serving to my friend. But I think there needs to be recognition on both ends.
burnout is another.
Yeah. No, friendship is tough. I have a very like large breadth of friends, and it's been hard for me to like maintain all of those friendships.
Right.
And with the not being able to maintain it, I think there's been an element of me feeling bad that I cannot maintain it, like simply because I don't have the capacity to. Like, I would love to be able to like do life presently with a lot of the friends that I've made, but like I literally cannot. And I think I was trying to all last year, and it was like not sustainable.
Yeah.
And so I've like realized that like being a good friend has been a hard concept for me because I've been feeling like I haven't been.
When you're younger and your idea of like what you're capable of and like what is in your capacity, when it's not fully formed, you feel like you can do everything and you just push and push and push yourself. But then you realize it's not fair to you, and it's also not fair to give your friend less of you. It's not like a full and vibrant friendship or relationship. So it's like, although that requires you having to drop some people, it like will give life to another because you're able to give and put more into a friendship that you want to invest in. But it is something that I think I'm going through too, where like I'm now recognizing like I can't do it all. Like I can't juggle all the things that I have on my plate and do everything well.
Right.
And so where can I say no and cut But it's hard, like, because I don't want to sacrifice on anything.
Yeah.
But I think there were friendships that in my life that have ended because I felt like at the time, I felt like they were requiring something of me that I couldn't give, which is true in some aspect. But I also was never thinking about what they were needing in that friendship. I was always just like, that's not who I am. I'm not capable of giving that. So I think there was a friend that I think required a lot more quality time than I needed, and then I was capable of giving. Or that I wanted to give. It wasn't even about capability. It was like, I was just like not interested in saying no to the other aspects of my life to give more time to this friendship. And then eventually died. And I think in that friendship, it was probably bound to happen because you can't sustain a friendship in which one person always wants more and another person's always saying no.
Yeah.
But had I in that moment made a decision that this was a friendship that I wanted to invest in, I would have had to make sacrifices.
Oh, that makes sense.
So going back to, like, when did you recognize that you felt like you were being a bad friend?
I think this has been ongoing for a while, but I think it was in that, like, last year especially, I would not reach out to a single person. I think, okay, this sounds really cocky and very bad, but, like, genuinely, like, my schedule would be packed for the week. Like, it was dinner every single night of the week, like, probably a lunch as well. And I did not initiate a single one of them. Like, it was always them asking me. And so, right, like, when you feel, like, those dynamics of, like, oh, like, I haven't asked them to hang out in a while, like, whatever. I think it was, like, always, like, at the back of my head. But, like, it was almost like I can't reach out and I can't plan something with you because I'm too busy and I don't have the capacity.
So in your definition, would a good friend be one who initiates?
Yeah.
That's interesting because I think one of the things I realized from seeing Hannah last year is that I don't have a lot of friends, or like I don't have as many friends as Hannah, because Hannah would literally see someone new every day of the week. It'd be a new friend, and then she would see that same person maybe like a month or two afterwards, because in between she's meeting new people.
Yeah.
And I would be like, I don't have that many friends to see every day. Like, am I doing something wrong? Am I not like reaching out to people enough or staying in touch with people enough?
No one was reaching out to you. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Not like Hannah, no. It was just the same group of people. But then the part that you mentioned is what I realized. It's that like I have to, because there was a period I think when I started reaching out to folks. All right, folks. Such a team thing. There was a time when I started reaching out to people that I haven't seen in a while, and then I would schedule like dinners with them. But then I will come out of those dinners not feeling like I got anything out of them. And
like
I was
people
just spending,
you hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah, because I was like, let me just stay in touch with them, like just rekindle those relationships, make sure like we're still friends. But then I would come out of those dinners just feeling like, oh, I just spent like 2 hours I could have just spent at home recharging or doing my own thing, and I spent it on someone that I know I won't be friends with. And so I realized I have to protect myself because I don't have capacity to be friends with everyone. And that's when I decided I will just deepen the relationships with friends that I have around me that I know will be my lifelong friends, than spend those 2-hour dinners every like 3 months with people I know aren't my closest friends. But that's just like for me,
right?
Those are the friends that I need during this time of my life right now,
right? And
yeah.
I think that also goes to show like the difference in perspective, right? Because like from your perspective you could have been like, oh, like I don't have that many friends, like, where on my end, like I don't have I can't say no to people when they ask me to hang out. And so, right, like even if I like did not want to go to said dinner, like I would still be there. And it almost like became like habit forming in that like I wouldn't even do the reflection after the dinner of like maybe this was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Or like maybe I could have been at home because I was too busy.
Yeah. Because you're just moving on. I think it was something you said, protecting your capacity allows you, kind of tying back to what I said earlier, allows you to be considerate of others. Because when you're so burnt out and like you're running on low fuel, like you don't have the mental capacity to think about what others are feeling in that friendship too.
Yeah.
What you're giving, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Or even for like romantic relationships. I think I caught myself not putting in as much effort as I used to into my relationship with my boyfriend several years in, because I was just doing like everything else, seeing friends or going out to dinners. And then I had to check myself before.
Yeah. I think a relationship is really the best way to test your capacity, because you could prioritize everything else and then leave your significant other in the back burner. And you know that's not right. That's like, it's the clearest wake-up call for you to be like, oh, I need to reorient.
Oh my god, that's a fight that we used to have so much.
What?
Simon and I, remember?
About you not feeling like a priority?
Yeah. I would always vent to you.
Oh, of course.
Both about it.
Yeah. But then now looking back in the context of this conversation, he probably was, his capacity, he was like just pushing. So do you think Simon is similar to us in that way?
I think you both are similar in that way. Meaning like Allie also has months where she plans things back to back to back and doesn't give herself a break the same way Hannah does. And
we tend to burn out more often.
Yeah.
So
But then I think you have a longer fuse.
I do.
And then your explosions are more catastrophic.
Yeah, I'm very more, yeah.
So do you think Simon's more
Yes.
along? How do you feel on the receiving end, like being with people who tend to kind of run themselves short? How do you feel as someone who like needs that depth? And how do you communicate your needs?
How do I feel? Well, we fought a lot about it, so I didn't like it.
Don't like it.
I think there's a point. Well, it depends. Is this person like worth my energy bringing up and telling them about it? If not, I kind of just, it's the miltang game. I keep myself busy and I'm like, I'm going to make this person realize they're not seeing me enough. They're going to start missing me, and that's when they come back.
Yeah, push-pull, baby.
Push-pull.
Yeah. Don't
So
text
that's
them back
how I
immediately.
confront it.
Yeah.
So not healthily. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
By playing games. Have you ever needed to communicate your needs to a friend? Because significant other is like, blow off, you know?
No, I'm not good at confrontation with friends.
Yeah. I think in some ways it's harder than significant other because you can't go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wait, but I actually disagree. I think that you communicate it with us. There have been times where you're like, can we like do a dinner? Guys, we haven't hung out.
But that's a passive way to do it. I'm
Right.
not like
a
hey,
sit down. Hey,
you're not making time for me.
But I almost think that could be better in certain situations because, again, it's like the levity of it. Like if it's like a, hey, let's sit down. Like we need to talk about this. It's just like, oh god, like can you get off? Like stop. Like get off my dick. You know?
Oh man. So do you think if Joyce were to say that, have that conversation with you, you would feel burdened?
I don't think so. I think like I try to like if she had enough on her mind to have to bring it up in that way, I will respect it and like I'll be like, oh yeah, absolutely. Of course, like it's gonna be a little bit more serious. And so yeah, I guess a little bit like I don't think it's as big of a burden, but it's more so like, oh okay, I'm gonna take this a little bit more seriously.
I think in a friendship sense, Allie and I, it takes more for Allie and I to reach that point where we feel the need to have to confront someone or talk to someone, or where it like starts to affect our lives.
Yeah.
But then for Hannah, it has a bigger impact on you because I've seen it happen before with some of your relationships where something happens and then it's on her mind all day.
Yeah. It's kind of like what you were saying about like when I burn out really hard. I think a lot of my reactions and like emotional responses tend to be bigger. Tend to like impact me more.
Yeah.
But I'm now thinking like, was 2022 a good year to evaluate you? Because I think you were spreading yourself too thin.
Way too thin.
Yeah,
Literally
so-
an entire year.
I don't know if that's the real you.
I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made no plans this
2023.
week.
Wow.
I blocked it out. I literally said, don't make plans. So,
Happy for you.
yeah. So it's been good. Any other questions?
So many, but
But you know what? We'll just have you guys on again.
yeah.
Wow. We were that great of guests.
Yeah, duh.
We'll be the filler episodes.
Hmm.
When I can't get other guests.
Pretty much.
Wait, but no, genuinely, being able to like talk through all these things, like put labels to like how I'm feeling and all of that is like a big part of why I've loved living with you guys. And so this episode was like the same thing.
This is literally some of the conversations we have, like over dinner.
Or at night till 2 a.m. When we first moved in together, we used to stay up till 2 a.m. talking every night.
And there was a time when we like slept over all on Hannah's bed.
Oh, on my bed, yes.
When our room was literally
We really loved each other.
steps away.
But thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this is so great.
I was nervous, but it does just feel like a conversation.
Yeah. Do you want to plug?
No.
Allie doesn't want to plug. You guys can give Joyce a follow at Joyce with 4 E's,
Oh.
Chun.
Wait, I have a plug.
Yeah.
Stu for Stuart.
Oh!
STU for STUART. Stu for Stuart.
It's actually inspired by Allie, because Allie always calls him stupid, Stu for stupid. And then I swapped it with Stu for Stuart.
Wait, really?
Stu for stupid.
So funny. You can give Joyce a follow. Joyce with 4 E's, Chun on Instagram, Joyce on TikTok, and you guys can look up Joyce Chun on YouTube.
youtube.com/c/Joyce Chun Vlogs.
Nice. And you guys can give Bulgogi Pod a follow on Instagram and TikTok at bulgogi.podcast, on Twitter at bulgogi podcast. I'm on Instagram at HANAKATTT. And that's today's episode. Woo! Okay. On 3, choose a pitch. 1, 2, 3. Ooh.